Hello and welcome to the His and Her Show with Jody
and Alex Misiak.
And today, seeing that, like for us, it's actually the first week that the kids are back to school and daycare and into a normal routine. With that also brings sometimes fear and anxiety. So I figured this is a really good time. Now I know some people across the world and definitely in the United States, they would go to school a little earlier than us. But I find that this is something that doesn't matter what time of year it is. Fear and anxiety can come up.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Usually around some sort of events that are happening in your life, whether kids be going to school or whether you yourself are going back to school or
going back to work. This could be
the time that new parents are going back to work. It's kind of, or at least my experiences with fear and anxiety is it's a build up. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't just hit you. Mm-hmm. It slowly starts deep inside your consciousness or your thoughts, and it starts to just grow slowly over time, and then it just sort of comes out, usually around another event or some other, and then you'll start. This is all me talking from a personal experience, so send an email if it sounds familiar, but. All of a sudden, you'll start noticing things like you'll feel like a tightness in your chest, or like that's the physical manifestation,
especially of like anxiety.
Of anxiety, yes, mm-hmm. That's right. And sometimes your mind will like race, and that's the fear, or your adrenaline will jump up, or your heart will stop pounding, and be like, "What is going on?" Right? Like mm-hmm. These are all the kinds of reactions that, like we as humans, we evolved like. A fear response and anxiety and that kind of stuff to deal with like outside threats, like I could get mauled by a tiger or whatever, but it's still there. So instead of these real threats, these threats that are outside that could hurt us, we manufacture our own threats inside our heads.
That's true. Actually, we have a lot of our bodies were designed to react when we were in a state of fear, and nowadays society has put on these. You should be afraid of this, or you could be afraid of that, or, you should be afraid of that, or even just trying to live up to expectations of society or of like your family expectations of yourself. And each culture I find has their own expectations of things, or even just different families. I know growing up, we had certain expectations and so forth. So that can actually start the point of where you can feel anxious if you're not living up to what you think you should be, or if actually fear is a huge thing. I threw fear in there, but like fear can there's so many that could be a category on it, like a topic on its own.
Yeah, because
fear, like there's so many multiple like branches of fear. Like mm-hmm. It can just be like you're afraid to go after your dreams kind of thing, or you're afraid to go try something new. Like I have a really cool saying that's actually right above us because we're in my office. And it's like, feel the fear and do it anyway. So that's one kind of fear where it's like you have butterflies and things. But what we're kind of really talking about today is that anxiety that comes with, I don't want to say it's made up, but it's one of those things that come up when it's most of it's in our head.
Absolutely.
Actually, most fears are even in our head where we're afraid of something that hasn't even happened yet. Where we can what if?
Yeah, what if?
Like, what if I fail? What if I fall on my face? But what if, I love there's, I'm paraphrasing this, but it's like, there's, somebody on a cliff. Like, what if I fall? What if I fall? But what if you fly? Mm-hmm. Or what if you soar? So like, our brains are a huge part. I love how you talk about how it feels in the body. And then it's also, a lot of the fear and anxiety starts in the brain and like with our beliefs and just it's our ego getting in the way and just a lot of things forming. So I know before we started recording, you talked about how you might want to share some of your experiences of going through some of this yourself and then kind of how you got out of it. So yeah, if you like to take over the reins.
Absolutely. So, and you're right. All of that is true. The fear that I'm talking about now is you manufacture it mm-hmm. in your own head, and then
not that there's nothing wrong with feeling this way.
No,
but it's I just want anybody going through it. I don't want them to feel like it's their fault because it isn't. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's a behavior. Well, it's a behavior you can change.
I just want to start with that, right? Absolutely. Because anybody going through that right now doesn't need to feel bad about themselves. That's all I want to say is we talked about this all throughout the month of August. It's like awareness and, acceptance. And it's just, anxiety sucks. It feels like crap to have it. And it could go like in momentarily, like small responses, right? Like small, like a little bit, or you can be walking around with anxiety for a long time. And it can show up in different forms, like indigestion and just different things.
Inability to sleep at night.
But I just want to just say before you go into your story, and it's great because then people know that they're not alone, is that yes, it's manufactured, and which is great because then we can actually undo it. If we're in charge of what's going on, we get to undo it. However, being in this place doesn't make you any less than awesome. It just means that that's where you're at right now, and it's okay.
Yes. And I don't want anyone to feel like who's going through this right now that, it's all your fault. And because down that road leads depression and fear, anxiety, and depression. It's like a
But the other thing is it can be like a little bit of anxiety or like a little something like you're going for a job interview, or it could be like what you're going to get into, like the full blown anxiety, right? Is that what you're going to talk into a little bit?
I think it all starts, I think
all starts little.
All of them start little. That's right. Yes. And when you've got things like a job interview or like, hey, we're going to go skydiving this weekend. Do you want to go? Mm-hmm. Yes, I want to go skydiving. And then, it's Thursday or Friday. You're like, what did I say yes to?
I wouldn't feel it till I was in the plane going, oh God, what have I signed up for?
Okay, you wouldn't do it till you got to the plane. That's fair. Okay. So then there's this sudden realization like hits, and then you feel that fear and you've got that anxiety. And like your thing says, feel the fear, but do it anyways. And I feel like that's the kind of, that's temporal. Like it's mm-hmm. temporary. It's not going to last. It's the kind of thing that you can push through or shy away mm-hmm. from, and then it's over.
Yeah, it's like making the phone call, going for the job interview, doing that little leap of something. Yeah. But and
jump out of the plane or don't. Do it again some other time, right? But for now, it's over with kind of deal, right?
And then anxiety, I feel like lasts a lot longer, or sometimes can.
Yes, like the other kinds of fear and anxiety, that the stuff that you keep carrying around with you, because it's this thing that's always that you're always reminding yourself of. It's this thing that you're always self-talking about, and that's the kind of stuff that it won't go away on its own. You need to sort of face it head on, and like we talked about, awareness, acceptance. Surrender and let go, and that kind of, that's a big one to get to sort of help you move through the fear and anxieties, the surrendering and the let going part. Because when you realize that the fears and that you're carrying around and reminding yourself of constantly, which is leading to your anxiety, and when you remind yourself, you're like, wait a minute, this thing that that I fear, right? It's like it's. I'm bringing my best to the table every day, kind of deal, and I don't have to think about what's going to happen. I have to let go of the outcome, because
worrying what other people are thinking. Exactly, are you living up to their expectations?
All these things.
How are you performing? But even though you are bringing your best, like we've talked about, be the best you.
Yeah, or be the best you can today.
Yeah,
right.
That was the old one. Yes,
that was a great one too, which is good. But that's always like, okay, so more concrete example, because I don't want this to drag on for too long. But like one of the big fears I've always had is losing my job, because I've gone through quite a lot of jobs in my career, not necessarily becoming unemployed through my own actions or inactions, just situations and all this other stuff. But it became like a real fear that I kept carrying around. Like, what happens if I lose my job, right? Like, what happens? And then, we settle down, you have a family. It's like
here's the other fun thing about your fear, though. What you focus on, you bring near, right? So that's like one of the...
definitely not something you want to be doing, right?
Yeah, like when you're focusing on like, oh, I'm going to lose my job. Like, of course, you're going to manifest that, right? So you gotta again, not your fault, just unaware, right? Yeah. And again, that's why awareness is key.
So the big part for me to moving through those kinds of fears is like we've talked about, is you got to be aware of, you're like, okay, I know I feel this way. I know why I'm feeling this way. Because when it first manifests, like your fear and anxiety, you might not know where it's coming from necessarily. So that's when you start, finding quiet places, meditating, trying to be more aware of like, when does this feeling come up? Right.
Well, can we circle back for just a second
sure.
why you were feeling this way though of not showing up well? Because I was on the outside of, I wasn't through the whole journey of this. I met you a few years into it, I think.
Yes.
However, I've been along beside you, and a part of it was actually fear that you weren't good enough.
Yes.
You weren't, and it all stems back to me mind sharing about your grade 1.
I think I've talked about it on the podcast again, but sure.
Anyway,
like the feeling of being like the fact that I have to be perfect.
Yes,
and then
exactly.
Back in grade 1, I
like it started all the way back at least in grade 1.
When I was a kid, yeah. When I was a kid, my parents, the teachers brought my parents in to talk to him, and they're like, and then, how's Alexander doing? And he's like, doing well, but like, what are you doing at home with him? And they're like, well, what do you mean? We don't understand what you're getting at. And he's like, he's getting really upset because he can't draw a perfect circle freehand. My parents are like, we have no idea. Like, why is he trying to do that? Why does he think he needs to be perfect?
So it stems back like from way back then, like even just having to do a perfect circle. So it just was that. And then the moments that really changed for you was realizing that, just focus on showing up.
Yes.
Well, right?
Being the best I can be.
Yeah.
And like we talked about in a previous podcast, being the best you can be for that day.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's all about just a lot of different little things. You kind of went inward because a lot of the time, like you said, it's anxiety is manufactured. And then when we're looking outward at people, when we're, it's like keeping up with the Joneses, or, we're just trying to please people, like I spent a lot of my life doing, is then we feel like we have to control the outer circumstances around us. Mm-hmm. But when we are actually going inward, all we have to do is take care of us.
Yeah.
And like when you get in and like centered and know who you are, how awesome you are, then it really kind of centers things. Are you going to be afraid of things? Yeah, of course that's going to come up, right? Especially jumping out of a plane. Still, that's still something I'd like to do possibly, but now that I have kids, I don't know. Anyways, but it's about looking inward. But anyway, I'll let you keep going into your...
like fear and anxiety is definitely, you can't get rid of it. It's an essential part of being human to have fear,
but it's feeling it.
It's
knowing why it's there. Is it a flight? Like, do I need to run? Is somebody after me?
Yeah.
Or do I just need to breathe through this and move forward?
And it's a good thing you mentioned breathing, because that is one of the ways that I would get through like anxiety / panic attack type stuff.
Another one was going for walks. I remember when you started doing that. You went for walks on like lunch break, or
just get out, get out of the environment that is not necessarily causing.
But you feel like it might be causing it.
You feel like it might be causing it, but sometimes just a change of location, a change of perspective, sort of gets you out of that. Like sort of shakes your cobwebs loose, and then you can sort of like recenter yourself, and those are the times where you can dig a little deeper and go, okay, what is going on? What am I feeling fear about? And that fear is driving your anxiety. That's definitely what happened.
I love it, because you know how a lot of factories or just different places have like there's smokers outside having smoke breaks. We need to like start adapting like mindful breaks.
I agree.
And like and I think you would actually do it where it's like, well, people are out smoking, why don't I just go for a quick walk? Or, like different things. Like just it doesn't even have to be like leaving the building. It can get up and walk around your desk or wherever you're at. I know when I worked in a warehouse, I would get up and just go to the bathroom. I didn't have to go, but I would just sit there in the stall and just be for a minute. Like if something was going on with myself, and then just be. And it's just finding those moments. And I've definitely talked to other people where it's like in the car, at work, and different things, wherever you can be. But I do want to talk about one other thing while I'm thinking of it. For anybody that's experienced just like anxiety in the morning, or a little bit of let's not even use the word anxiety. Actually, it can be when you're getting your kids out the door, or just plain stressful. So we actually had this happen today where our mornings are always a little, I don't want to use the word stressful, but it's a little hectic.
Rushed?
Rushed and hectic because, we have to get out the door at a certain time. You and I, Alex, don't really need to be in the office per se. We just need to get working. So it's really about where our kids need to be. So we don't get to set that time. We sometimes, we're not morning people in our house. We'll be honest, we're not morning people. But this morning, Anastasia and Jaden crawled into bed. It's like, Mommy cuddles. And I was like, yeah, I love my morning cuddles. And then you call up from downstairs and be like, breakfast time. I'm like, or come down for breakfast. Like, can we just have a couple minutes? So sometimes in your stressful, hectic, full of anxiety day, it's about taking little moments. It's being present with your loved ones, with yourself. And it's just, I don't know how many minutes we took, but it did not affect our morning. We were still out the door at the same time. And I think it actually was a little less stressful because we took that moment to just be.
Yes.
Be present. And I just was like, I love my morning cuddles with our kids and with you, but mostly I get more with our kids. But
that's okay.
But yeah, it's taking those moments and just being present. I'm not saying about being present all day long. That could be tricky. But just, taking those moments and through the crazy, stressful times and just be.
Yeah. No, that's very good and it leads into what I've already been talking about and how I sort of tried to move through most of that. It is key to take those moments and be present. Like the fear that I experienced in the past and still occasionally experience, and which drives the anxiety up. It's fear of this thing that's happening or may never happen, and it's in the future. Mm-hmm. So the moment you say, okay, forget about that, I'm going to just focus right here, right now, be present. Like when you were snuggling with the kids, and I'm like, breakfast is ready. And you're like, just give me a few minutes. I'm like, all right. And all I did was be for those few minutes. Mm-hmm. And that slaps you right out of that thing. You can feel you'll feel all those symptoms of fear and anxiety just melt away because you've created them. When you started worrying, when you started being fearful of some nebulous thing, and then once you take yourself out of that and just be present, that nebulous thing disappears, and so do all your symptoms.
Have you ever noticed that driving? Like, say you're rushing to get somewhere. You're like, I'm late. I'm out the door late. And now if I'm ever in that state and I'm like freaking out that I'm going to be late for my appointment or late to wherever I'm going, I hit all the red lights. Traffic seems to be like either slow or, not going well. But if I'm like, I either make a phone call, say, hey, I'm running late, just a heads up. Or if I just let it go back, I have enough time to get there. It's not stressful for one. And two, usually there's green lights and things just flow better when you're just allowing life to happen.
Yeah.
I'm not saying just sit on the couch all day and do nothing, but it's just allowing for space and allowing for things to flow naturally instead of trying to force it in this thing that we think. And I think that really stems to stress and anxiety and
surrender and let go. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
And yes, I mean, I think when you are in a rush, when you are stressed out, all the things that add to that are so much more prominent. Whether you hit more red lights or not, every red light you hit, you're going to feel more.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So if you let go of that.
No, it's a fun exercise though. Seriously, try it next time.
Try it.
Literally, just be just free for all, and that's when you hit all red or all green lights, and it's really a cool experience when you just.
I gotta work on my manifestations to get all green lights all the way down.
And it's just
I will tell you though that when I stop being stressing out about where I'm going or what the time is, I don't feel those red lights, right?
It's just like parking spots. You can manifest your parking spot right
there,
true, yeah. Which is really cool because we did that.
We've done that a couple times.
So it's just...
when we're driving to where we're going to go, it's we're going to...
Well, it was for Jaden's one birthday party at a community center. We really wanted a front parking spot. I really could care less most of the time how far away I have to park. But when you have a carload of stuff to unpack with two little kids... because it was for his first birthday.
Yeah.
We just manifested the spot right out front so we could unload easily.
Yeah, we said the perfect spot will be waiting for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it sure was. It was the only spot there that was close by too, so it was really cool. Yeah. Anyways, So it's just opening up and allowing a little bit more.
Yep.
And that can be a really tricky thing if you've been experiencing anxiety for a long time. Do you remember what the key shifting point was? Because you went through it for a long time. You were living in a lot of
stress and anxiety. Yeah. I think the key shift for me was just those kinds of daily practices. So gratitude, right? Even the small things, thanking, be grateful that I have, 10 fingers and 10 toes, or whatever you happen to be grateful for. Even the smallest things. I was grateful that you were in my life, for example, at that moment. I was grateful that I could go for walks. So the gratitude helped, being more present and learning to let go. That was the big one too. So like if the big stressor for me at the time was I might lose my job, it was like, okay, I will bring my best to this job every day, whatever that my best is for that day, like that kind of mantra, and then let go of the rest. Like if I lose my job, I lose my job, and I'll find another one. Or, like another one will show up. There's always be work, right? So, reminding myself of that kind of stuff daily, reminding myself, like going for those walks. And one of my favorite mantras at that time, I'm paraphrasing, but like, when you feel fear and when you feel anxiety, it's like, it's a loss of, safety and security. So one of the mantras I started saying to myself was, I am safe. Right?
Another great one is all is well.
Yeah, I think it was. That's the other.
Because that's Louise Hay that said all is well.
All is well, and I am safe. And
actually, yeah, I think that's her whole thing. All is well, and I am safe. Because I did give you Louise Hay's. I think it was a book of affirmations.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it's called.
So those affirmations definitely help because. And it helped me because I wasn't just saying them, but I was really trying to believe them and feel them. And while I was saying them in my head or even out loud sometimes, I would focus on what I was saying. And even that focus, right? Because I'm now focused on the present moment, it shifts you out of that fear and anxiety.
Well, so here's the thing, fear and anxiety, like we've talked about, you were afraid of losing your job. It wasn't something that happened.
No.
You're afraid of the future.
Yeah.
So putting yourself in that present moment allows you to forget that there is a future. Like you can't control what happens in the future. Right. It's just being yourself, right? And showing up as awesome as you can. So yeah, it's just being in that present moment. Then that fear and anxiety disappear because you're not thinking into
about
the future.
Something
may never happen.
May never happen or will never happen. Yeah, exactly. You're not creating all this stress and you're not creating all this stuff and turmoil within yourself because you're too busy just being focused on the present moment where things are probably pretty good, right? Yeah. So I hope that kind of stuff, I know we covered a lot of ground, but I hope that kind of stuff will help some of our listeners who might be going through that kind of stuff. I mean, I feel like throughout your entire life, you're going to be experiencing this kind of stuff and some fear and anxiety, like jumping out of a plane, new job interview, that kind of stuff. It's going to keep coming up. But
however, I'm just going to cut you off.
No, please, yeah.
It's all about coming up with a daily practice.
Yes.
Right? Like we share many things on here. There's essential oils that we had on with Penny. And she even talked about tapping, EFT, so emotional freedom technique. So there's so many different ways, meditating, yoga, working out, get your body moving and, shake things up a little bit. These are all different things that help your body. Cause like working out, even if you're at your ideal like body weight and shape, that's awesome. Working out, moving your body gets your blood flowing. It gets your brain going and it really can de-stress you. So it's just all these things and it's finding out what works for you and really crafting a morning or a daily routine somewhere, wherever that is. It can be morning, afternoon, and night. It can be one of any of those, or it's really just coming up with something that works for you. So when you feel stressed, It's not like, oh man, I gotta go drink myself a bottle. Like I gotta go get myself a bottle of wine and drink the whole thing. I'm not saying you can't drink wine. It's just that you're not relying on that whole bottle of wine to de-stress you. Mm-hmm. It's, for me, it's meditating or rebounding on the trampoline, or like I love even just putting essential oils in the air to help. And usually it's not just one, it's a lot, like, you know, different things, but it's creating your own personal toolbox, or like we've mentioned, journaling.
Yeah.
But I love yours for walking when you're stressed and full of anxiety or fear. A good walk is great. And you can even do walking meditations. That was the big one for me when I was going through a hard time, was walking. I didn't even know what it was called. I didn't even think back then I was meditating. I just felt it was really good to just go for a walk. I didn't care where I went. Obviously, I knew the direction of where I'd go home. But I just go for a walk. It didn't matter how long I was gone or anything. And sometimes if I was up for like a really long walk, I go further. And then I look at the trees. And I'm like, oh, that looks like a bird. Or, you know, I just find different shapes and throughout the trees. And who knew? Walking meditation. But back then, like I said, I don't think I was meditating yet. And it's do what feels right for you. But it is doing something.
Yeah. No.
And I'll be the first one to admit that, yes, and when I feel stressed, sometimes I'll sit in front of the TV. And that is okay. However, try and, you know, pair that with something that will help your mind de-stress as well. Like, it kind of numbs us, which is cool. But at the same time, it doesn't move us forward.
Yes.
Like that feeling, the feelings are still going to be there. If it's a deeper, like, anxiety or something, not just a passing fear.
I almost feel like we can talk about this like for a long time. So, and I think we should come back to it, because that's a very good distinction, because between feeling numb and actually, like, you know, experiencing those emotions and then moving forward. Yeah. And so hopefully we've given you guys a lot to think about, and a lot of tools to sort of build your own anti-stress, anti-anxiety, anti-fear kit.
Or let's call it a love kit, because I don't really like anti things. Feel like just right. Like fighting and stuff. I love, like, you know, a love kit.
Yeah, okay. Well, add it to your self-love kit.
Because where there is love, there is no fear.
There you go.
So and fear, anxiety. So when you're focused on love, that's why the present moment's amazing, because you're usually like, in gratitude, you're bringing up those love emotions. So when there's love, there's no fear.
All right.
So we hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day.
Bye for now.